You know the Packers so well. Why do you think they started the Tush Push conversation this week?
I am a fan of the Packers, but I disagree on this. I also like the Eagles. I live down the block from Howie Roseman. I just think what they're doing is trying to legislate against a team. What Mark Murphy said, which I push back on, is it's not a play of skill. If it's not a play of skill, why can one team do it so much better than others? It just seems to be very discriminatory against a team that had all the success. And you talked about this before I came on, but if a player's down the field and all of a sudden this scrum starts pushing, the crowd loves it, the announcers love it, it's so cool. It seems to me that's the same thing. If you're going to outlaw that, that's the same thing, right? That's a push. People come in. Now there's people on the other side. So the uncanny thing to me about the Tush Push is not that the Eagles perfected it. It's that no one else can. And it can't just be because Jalen Hurts has stronger legs. There's technique or whatever it is. I'm not the X's and O's guy, but why can't it work for other people? Are their quarterbacks' legs too skinny? Is it that simple? I mean, like, why haven't the Packers and other teams been able to do this? Because it's clearly a competitive advantage for the Eagles. And I think it stays. I don't think that passes.
And again, you know, we talked about this the last couple of days. If you go back, and I'll send this to you, this link of Neil deGrasse Tyson on NFL Game Day morning, the day of the Super Bowl, that our producer Ken Tulo brought to my attention. You watch this and you see one of the greatest physicists in the history of our country talk about how it's an impossible play to defend because of physics. And this guy has basically, you know, solved black holes, and yet he can't solve the Tush Push. And he says it's just because of the force of the earth and the push of his legs. I mean, go back and watch it. I will send you the link if you are out there and you want to see it.
What would he say about these other 30 teams?
Well, that's it. That's the question. But shouldn't everybody be able to go out there and score?
Right. And again, you could say it's the Eagles line and it's Hurts and it's pushing by Saquon Barkley, but to me, that's not the answer.
I would love to ask you about the running back position, because this is something Marshall Falk and I discuss all the time. And if you missed that conversation, we did bring it up again yesterday. Go to the YouTube channel, check it out. Saquon, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs. Will last year's success with running backs change the way front offices talk about the running back position?
I think so. Before last year, we had this really stagnant market for so many years, as you saw, and no one was getting over, pick a number, $8-9 million a year. So Barkley broke the seal with $12-13 million a year. And the success of those ones you mentioned, especially Jacobs and especially Joe Mixon and Derrick Henry, all discarded by their prior teams. Amazing. So, yes, but a handful. You won't see a gaggle of running backs getting 12, 13 a year. But this is what I just talked about with Jamar Chase and receivers. Suzy, there's 20, 25 receivers making over $20 million a year. There's 3 running backs making over $10 million a year. So it just seems to me we have an inefficiency in the marketplace. We're overpaying receivers who are easy to find, and we're underpaying running backs at that level who are hard to find. I just think $12 million for Saquon Barkley, who's the 7th highest paid player on the Eagles offense, is a fantastic bargain, and get a couple more out there like that, and you really are now saving money on running backs. They're the most disadvantaged position in the league. They have this 3-year eligibility rule. They can't come into the NFL, and those years could be high-earning years because running backs, they don't need time to develop like offensive linemen, quarterbacks. They need to play, and that's where they make their money before age 27.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.